Well, hello again, and yet again I didn't expect to be making a video quite so soon. I was up a little earlier this morning and had a fairly leisurely breakfast, so I had a bit of a look around to see what was going on, as usual. And I found a few things that I thought would be worth commenting on, so here I am yet again. Now, yesterday I said it was the 29th of June here in Australia, and it's the equivalent of the 29th or the 24th of November in the UK. I should have said, of course, it was the 29th, equivalent to the 29th of November in the UK. So it's the first month of winter almost over. So today is Sunday morning. It's a little bit later than usual, so you can't hear the birds have all moved on. I think they've woken up, they've said their piece, and they've flown away. So it's pretty quiet in the background today. But it's Sunday, it's the 30th of June 2024, equivalent to the 30th of November in the UK. As you can probably see behind me, it doesn't look very much like the 30th of November in the UK, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock in the morning, okay? Alright, so there's a few things that I've seen that I thought I should probably comment on. Again, I've got a fairly busy day, so this is going to be a fairly quick video. Actually, I'll set the... I don't really want to have to do two videos and join it together. Okay, so Danny Shen was being interviewed. Oh, actually, no, first of all, Danny Shen and Steve Bassett both tried to get the UAP question into the presidential debate, that debate that was on the other day, or yesterday, whenever it was. And they were surprised to, to find that there was no mention of UAPs in the presidential debate. And that's because both of the people involved in that know there's nothing to this. Trump doesn't believe in aliens. What does that tell you? Biden seems to have very little interest in it. It certainly isn't a huge problem that requires immediate attention, as the Piffle-Peddlers will have us believe, or have some of us believe. Now, Danny Shen was being interviewed by someone else, and the interviewer actually said to him, "You're making this pretty difficult for me, Danny," because he's saying he can't talk about something. Now, Danny Shen said he has been told to watch what he says. So, just like Nolan, Danny Shen has been told to watch what he says. By who? Jake and Elwood? We're never told who behind the scenes is telling these people to watch what they're saying. Now, the penalty for not watching what he's saying is that he could be excommunicated from the exclusive inside UFO club. And of course Mr. Shen doesn't want that. And I think what they're doing is, they've looked at what some of Danny Shen has said, and they've looked at what Gary Nolan has said, and said, FFS, don't say stuff like that. We've got little enough credibility as it is. You're going to reduce it by saying stuff like that. And I think in Danny Shen's case, it was more likely the X-Files story, with the deep dark basement, with the deep dark secrets and the guys in suits, and the image of the UFO flying saucer sticking out of the ground at a 45-degree angle, just like every other image of a crashed UFO. Just Google crash UFO, go to images, everyone is a saucer sticking out of the ground at a 45-degree angle. So I think that's what they've said to Danny Shen. If you want to stay in the club, watch that. Less fanciful yarns. And they said the same to Nolan as well. With these aliens at the bottom of the bed story, aliens looking through the windows. Alien communicating with him telepathically when he was about to start his job as a professor at Princeton. Really? Okay, so I think. For the truth is, for the first time, the Piffle-Peddlers are receiving some serious pushback. Steve Bassett and Danny Sheehan have probably been peddling all this rubbish, and people lap it up. They've surrounded themselves with fanboys who pat them on the back for telling all this ridiculous science fiction stories. Now there's pushback. People with an IQ bigger than their shoe size are starting to look at what they're saying and actually listen to what they're saying and see if it makes any sense. Of course, it doesn't. And now they're finding it hard to believe that people don't believe them. Okay, did I really say that? Oh dear. You can almost imagine the conversation over the phone or in the restaurant, can't you? You're going to kill any credibility we've got with nonsense like that. Keep it buttoned. Or you're out. You're out of the Piffle-Peddling club, okay? I think Coulthard has been told the same thing, with his crashed UFO outside, crashed alien spacecraft outside of the United States, so big they had to put a building over it. He can't tell us where it is, though. He's got to keep him with the UFO Piffle-Peddling club. And of course, that's that's nonsense, because if it's an alien spacecraft, he just needs to tell us where it is, we'll get it verified, and then he doesn't need the alien ET Piffle-Peddling club, does he? Well, he doesn't need them anymore, does he? The story's broken. We're not alone. ET's here. So this is all bloody rubbish, all of it, So, now it's beginning to dawn on them that they're not being believed. Well, me. I always do these videos just after I've had breakfast. Sunday, of course, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit later. People don't just sit back and swallow their bullshit anymore. This surprises them. Suddenly they're not the confident, swaggering, oh yeah, I know this. Suddenly they're a bit sheepish. They've been told. Stop it with the ridiculous stories or you're out of the club. And excuse me. It's Shen's deep dark basement story, straight out of the X-Files. Nolan's story, aliens at the bottom of the bed, straight out of the X-Files. It's all complete and utter rubbish. It's ridiculous nonsense. As I said before, if I had seen the image that Sheehan was talking about, describing, he was in the deep dark basement, in the office in the deep dark basement with the guys in suits, the flying saucer, the alien spacecraft sticking out of the ground at 45 degrees, I probably would have fallen about laughing. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Really. Just Google crash flying saucer. Crashed UFO images, they're all sticking out of the ground at 45 degree angle. So compare images of crashed UFOs, alien spacecraft, flying saucers, to crashes of aircraft. Crashes of UFOs, always something you can tell is obviously a flying saucer. It's almost completely unscathed, sticking out of the ground 45 degrees. Look at some images of plane crashes. Just debris all over the place, Huge hole in the ground full of debris. You can't even recognise it as an aircraft. You have to be able to recognise a flying saucer as a flying saucer. So it's sticking out of the ground at 45 degree angle. Practically zero damage, it's ludicrous. And I think I've said that before as well, but it just sort of seemed to fit in with the Shen being told to watch what he says sort of thing. Now, I saw some interviews with some ET experiencers. Now, ET's not coming here. ET has never been here. Nobody is interacting with ETs. It's science fiction rubbish. It's nonsense. And I was sort of looking at these people, and to be honest, I wouldn't cross the road to talk to them. let alone fly across the galaxy to single these people out to interact with. It's just not. It's not going to happen. You know, they're just not. ET's coming here, coming all this way. If they're going to interact with anybody, it's going to be somebody significant. You know, it's not going to be Bubba in a caravan park. You know. And they produced some pretty unimpressive footage, actually. This guy said, oh yeah, these orbs, you know, they come in 20s and 40s, these orbs. And he said, have you got any video of that? And he said, yeah, and he shows one clip of a flashing light, and it's close to an airport. Really? I mean, come on, guys, this is drivel, isn't it? I mean, it's just complete and utter rubbish. No video of the 20 or 40 swarming orbs. Although actually I saw recently in Perth here we had a drone show and they had drone swarms, and that was really impressive, drawing different shapes in the sky. I might even see if I can find a video clip of that. I think one of my colleagues my work colleagues actually went along to that. He took some footage of those drones, but they were just drawing shapes in the sky, and it's absolutely fantastic what they can do with those things. But there's not even any footage like that. You know, there's no swarms of anything. There's just one blinking light, and it's near an airport. I mean, come on, really. Richard Dolan has been saying that UAP sightings are increasing. I haven't seen any evidence of that. Have you? This is this is of course complete and utter nonsense. You know, Dolan is another one that's trying to put a few more PSI into the deflating UAP ETs are coming here balloon. You know, it's all going, as I said yesterday, all the Piffle-Peddlers are rapidly, you know, balloon goes up a little bit, you know, down again. More science fiction stories needed. Down it goes again. So Nolan is trying to talk it up. There's not an increase in UAP sightings. There's nothing new. Tell me one recent impressive UFO story, ET story. There are none. And of course, there's nothing. There is nothing new with regard UFO, UAP, ET stories. You know, aliens in the back garden. Flying saucer crashed in the back garden in Los Angeles, you know. But Dolan has said, in his own words, you know, that he's not interested in getting a real job. You know, he just wants to. Well, he didn't say grift, but he's just happy making a living out of this visiting ET nonsense. You know, on the talk circuit, selling books. That's what he likes to do. So he's got to talk it up. He can see that the ET coming here balloon is deflating. He feels he needs to do something about it to protect his income. So does Greer. You know, sort of rubbish Greer's been coming out with. I'm going to insert some real stuff here. Now, SETI have apparently received a $100 million donation. And they are making grants available for ET technosignature research. Now, this is real stuff. You know, this is not science fiction rubbish. This is real. So I think that's really good. So someone's given SETI, one of these rich billionaires probably, has given. I should have researched that, but I didn't. Has given SETI $100 million to aid their research. And what SETI's done is they've said, okay, you know, if you're going to do some serious technosignature research, we'll look at funding it for you. That is real science. That is properly looking for ET. You know, that's not ridiculous science fiction stories. You know, so if a university's got some sort of project in mind, you've got to bear in mind that SETI, the key people in SETI are knocking on now. You know, they want to get evidence of ET. They want to see evidence that ET is out in the galaxy before they drop off the perch. So they're going to push as hard as they can, and $100 million, of course, is going to help considerably. And if they get some realistic projects with people looking for techno-signatures out in the galaxy, then they'll give grants to support that research. and that's real, and that's the way ET is going to be found. They're not going to be found because they're crashing in, you know, someone's back garden, or they're abducting a lumberjack. You know, it's ridiculous nonsense, science fiction rubbish. They're probably out there. Curiously, only 7% of the stars in the Milky Way galaxy are yellow dwarfs like the Sun. Most of them are red dwarfs. You know, there's a sort of, I was going to say a limited amount of stars, but I mean 7% of, what is it, 400 billion stars in the Milky Way. That's a lot of stars. So they may very well be out there, you know. I think more than likely they're out there. That doesn't mean I think they can get here. I think they'd have the same issues we'd have doing interstellar travel, you know. It's extremely difficult to do. So, especially with crew, a ship with a crew on it, you know. Now, recently they've discovered these infrared signatures around stars, and they think they might be Dyson rings. And I mentioned this before as well, but surely, I mean, does anybody know, I mean, I haven't researched this, I've been a bit busy, but how did Freeman Dyson propose they got the energy captured by the Dyson rings to the individual stars in that particular star system that needed that energy? How did he propose to do that? I mean, obviously you can't have a pair of wires going from a planet to a Dyson ring, can you? I mean, it's going to have to be either converted into microwave energy or laser light, even invisible laser light, but laser light of some form, and then converted back into energy that can be used on the planet. And that's the only way I can think of doing it. I don't think it's very realistic. I mean, could you imagine we put a Dyson ring around the Sun? It's probably going to have to be just inside the orbit of Mercury, probably. How would you get the energy from that ring to Earth if we wanted to use that energy? So if they're beaming it at the planets in the system that need the energy, then we should be able to pick up those microwave signals, because they'd be enormously powerful. They'd be a lot more powerful than the 3 terawatt signal that was sent from Arecibo, that the scientists there said would go right across the galaxy. 3 terawatts. 3 terawatts would be insignificant compared to the amount of power used from projected from a Dyson ring to a planet in the system that wanted to use it, because the losses involved will be colossal. Okay, so if they're going to be doing that, then, you know, if we can see the infrared is going to be travelling at the same speed as the microwave. It's going to be travelling at light speed, isn't it, or the laser light, the invisible laser light. So if we can see the infrared from the ring, we should be able to see, pardon me, microwaves or laser light. Even invisible laser light, we should be able to detect that. So I suspect that's the sort of techno signatures they're going to be looking for. They're also going to be looking for chemicals in atmospheres, spectral analysis. The planet passes in front of a star, the star's light shines through it, you get a spectrograph. What's in the planet's atmosphere? And they're going to be looking for synthetic chemicals in planet atmospheres and that sort of stuff. So this is real science. This is the real search for extraterrestrials. This is not science fiction. They crashed in my back garden and spoilt my barbecue rubbish. You know, Greys wouldn't even eat the burgers. They said they're vegetarians. They come from the planet broccoli. So, so good on SETI, I think, for doing that, for making that $100 million, for taking, you know, for getting the $100 million in the first place, and for then making it available for real techno-signature research. Good on SETI. Real science. Okay. But just out of curiosity, does anybody know how Freeman Dyson proposed to get the energy from the Dyson rings to the planets in the system that needed it? Just let me know in the comments below. I might research it, but I've got another busy day today, so, you know, it's maybe during the week I'll have a look at it and see what I can find out about what Freeman Dyson actually proposed. He presumably did some sort of paper on it, didn't he? Let's see if I can get a copy of it and have a look at it. Now, oh yeah, something else I saw which I thought was quite interesting, and that is Congressman Jim Himes has said that Congress needs to move on from this UAP aliens nonsense. Basically, he's been briefed by Arrow. Arrow could look into every compartment and program, and told him there's nothing to this visiting ET, reverse engineering ET technology nonsense. And what Congressman Jim Himes is saying is Congress needs to be told what he was told. Congress needs to be briefed by Arrow so they can move on and not waste any more time with this ET rubbish. And I think he's right. You know, they're wasting time and energy on this complete and utter rubbish. Arrow is tasked with getting to the bottom of it. They've looked at every program, into every compartment. There is no reverse ET technology, reverse engineering ET technology program. There's no ETs are coming here. There's no ET material here. It's all complete and utter rubbish. Arrow was set up to find out if there was anything to it. They've looked into every program and every compartment and said there is nothing to it, you're wasting your time. Of course, the fanboys are saying, well, Arrow's a disinformation thing, it was set up, you know, to put everybody off the trail, and they can't say anything else, can they? Because if they say anything else, there's no more talk circuit fees, there's no more books, there's no more DVDs, there's no more TV programs, because it's put to bed. The subject's dead. They have to say, it's all lies, it's a cover-up, there's a truth embargo, and the only truth embargo is coming from the science fiction piffle-peddlers. The people that are telling you that the aliens are crashing here, aliens are visiting here, we're reverse engineering alien technology. That's the truth embargo. The truth is there's nothing to it. They don't want you to know the truth. So they keep feeding you all this science fiction rubbish. That's the truth embargo. The embargo is on the fact that there is nothing happening. There is no ET material here. That's the truth. It's the science fiction piffle peddlers that are pushing the truth embargo, that are perpetuating this truth embargo by trying to convince everybody there's something to it when there isn't. That's where the truth is being hidden. The truth is there's nothing to it. They are telling you otherwise. They are putting in place a truth embargo. Well, actually, they're not, are they? Because the truth is out there. The truth is out there, and there is nothing there. They're not coming here. So that's Congressman Jim Himes. You know, he said Congress is wasting their time with all this rubbish. He's been briefed by Arrow. They should be briefed by Arrow, have the same briefing he had. Arrow's looked into every compartment, every program. There is nothing to it. Nothing to see here. Move on. You know, just get it into your thick heads. There's nothing to it. Apparently there's... Oh, he also said apparently there's thousands of people that wake up every day and desperately want all this visiting ET nonsense to be true. Now, I've noticed this, you know, if you look at the ET piffle peddlers, they desperately want all this to be true. The question is why? Why would you desperately want extraterrestrials to be visiting this planet? Why? I mean, I don't. I don't desperately want ETs to be visiting this planet. I think we've got enough problems as it is without introducing something else into the pot. You know, is it... you know, are they all like the guy from that episode of the X-Files, Lord Moody or whatever it was? The guy says, the guy says to this fellow, well, why do you so desperately want aliens to be coming here? And he said, well, I want to be abducted so I don't have to get a job. Is that why thousands of people desperately want all this to be true? They don't want to get a job. Their lives are so dull, mundane and boring that anything is better than the life they're living. They want to be abducted by aliens. They want to be taken away. Do they think they're all Jupiter ascending, really? They're going to be abducted by aliens. We need you. We have come across the galaxy to get you. You are so special. We need you on our planet. We need you to run the planet. Is that what it's all about? They need this fantasy. They need to escape into this fantasy world, because they spend their days sitting in a cubicle, you know, plonking away on a computer in a cubicle, looking at their "I want to believe" poster got pinned up in the cubicle, you know. And when they're not looking at that, they're looking at the wall clock. You know, is it time to go home yet? Is it time to go home yet? You know, plonking on the computer. And what the paper clips cost this week? Oh God, you know. Is that what it's all about? Is it people are just bored, witless, and they need this fantasy escape? They need to escape into this fantasy world where ETs are coming here, you know, and they know all about it, you know. They're with the in crowd suddenly. They're somebody because they know about it, you know. Is that what it's all about? But I can visualise that, easily visualise it. You know, people sitting in a bloody cubicle, an open plan work area, you know, sitting in a cubicle. "I want to believe" poster, you know, they've probably got a plant, a cactus in a pot, and they every 2 or 3 weeks they move it from one side of the computer screen to the other just to give them something different to look at. Looking at the wall clock, you know, isn't it time to go home yet? Is that what it's all about? Is that what these thousands of people that desperately want this to be true, is that why they need this escape into Fantasyland? Welcome to Fantasy Island. You know, boys, the plane. Now, apparently NORAD, how are we doing for time? I might have to stitch two together. I'll have to whiz through this bit, I think. NORAD, apparently, has confirmed that they shot down 3 hobby balloons over Alaska. So, you know, I was saying yesterday about them probably being low-cost hobby projects. So NORAD has confirmed that's in fact what they were. Now, they're modifying their radar apertures so that they can more accurately detect what any objects that they come across are. Because they don't want to waste hundreds of thousands of dollars scrambling aircraft, shooting down hobby projects, you know, $200 hobby projects with $100,000 missiles or $200,000 missiles, because it's not very cost effective, is it? So if you're one of the radio clubs, ham radio clubs or science clubs that launches these balloons in that sort of area, you should be okay. Your $200 balloons should be safe in future. I hope that's not the alarm telling me that I'm going to have to stitch 2 of the videos together. It probably is. Okay, now that might have been an SMS actually. Maybe it's from Lotto. I could do the next video from Antibes in South France. Someone needs to put some stuff in their trailer by the sound of it. Sounds like an empty trailer bouncing up and down the road. Yeah, so NORAD have modified their radar systems, so now they'll be able to tell if they're hobby balloons or not. So they would have done that. It wouldn't have been a physical nuts and bolts modification. That would probably be a software modification, I suspect. But regardless, I mean, even if they did have to modify the hardware, in the long run it's going to be a lot cheaper than wasting a lot of money shooting down hobby balloons. And on to the last bit. Whistleblowers fear for their lives. You know, Danny Shen says they're out there, honest governor, they're there. First-hand people that have got this. First-hand experience with ET materials, reverse engineering. Of course, they're not out there. That's complete and utter rubbish. They may have told Danny Sheehan that that's the case, and he may have swallowed that story, but there's nothing to it. It's complete and utter rubbish. They fear for their safety. So I've got a suggestion for them. Why don't they get as many as possible together, gathered together, and get them interviewed as a group by the 60 Minutes television programme. That would ensure their safety, wouldn't it? If going public ensured David Grush's safety, it's going to ensure the safety of these first-hand whistleblowers. Yeah, it's an SMS. It's going to ensure the safety of all these whistleblowers, get them together in a group, interviewed by 60 Minutes. And then, of course, Arrow can get a copy of that programme, that interview, and then check out all their stories. And you can bet your bottom dollar every single one of them will be science fiction rubbish. That's why they don't want to come forward in the first place. That's what I've always said. None of these people are going to come forward because they know they're lying. They know it's rubbish. And finally, Timberchet says people should not try to contact extraterrestrials using the CE5 protocol. CE5. Oh, using my consciousness to summon aliens. To me sitting in a deck chair, a lawn chair, out in the desert. Now, people shouldn't be doing that because it may open them up to demonic forces. Now, this is coming from a congressman. What sort of people, you know, do the Americans have in their Congress that they could come out with a statement like that? Using CE5 may open them up to demonic forces. What a complete and utter load of rubbish. I really wouldn't want to be, I wouldn't want this country to be run by people that believe in demons and, you know, all this rubbish, you know. I was going to say gods as well. I suppose there's plenty of people that believe in gods. Personally, I don't, but zero evidence for any of that either. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully I don't have to join two of these together. So as always, many thanks for watching. Maybe I'll catch you again.